like a few months back, and
Yep.
it was on Tuesday. So
Yeah.
I saw
Oh, yeah. the Latin Tuesday.
I saw the Latin Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I just had a whiskey sour here.
Oh, yep.
So it's one of my favorite cocktails, and
Yep.
I just had a very good time here.
Yeah, it's Tuesdays are unreal.
Yeah. So
Like,
I was just thinking. So correct me if I'm wrong. What I thought of this place was it's more of an experience than just having a drink. It's more about the experience, you know.
absolutely.
You come in here, you have a good time.
It's the same as why we don't have any signage out.
Okay.
So the whole reasoning behind that is it's an experience getting here. So when they arrive, they're not just going to come in, have a quick drink and disappear. The idea is you've found it.
Yeah.
It's the same as our sister bar is Molly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
principle.
Yes.
That's what we thought, yeah.
So it's us, Molly, and Black Market. are
Okay.
The three businesses in our little family at the moment.
Yeah.
All three of us, of the three, Black Market probably has the most exposure.
Okay.
Because it's actually integrated with the business above it. So yeah, but with us, it's all about the experience of finding it. It's also, I call us a 1950s Cuban bar because that's the idea. That's why we all wear shirts and ties,
Yeah.
black pants. It's part of that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. How long have you been like the manager here?
I've only been the manager here 2 months.
Okay. Oh wow. So relatively like new. Yeah.
The venue's been here 2 years.
Okay.
So, but before this, I was at James Italian.
Okay.
Oh.
Cool. 2
So,
months.
what do you think is the target market of this place?
Target market for this place, it's pretty much that sort of 25 plus professional market.
Yep.
We're after, public servants essentially.
Public
Yeah.
servant.
The way we sort of look at it is Canberra's got three demographics: 50% public servant, 20 or 30% student, and the rest services them.
Right. Okay.
So, for us, we're going after the bigger market.
Yeah.
Right. And then, do the public servants host events here?
Absolutely. We have once a week, once a fortnight, we actually have a gentleman who organises. It's a networking night.
Yeah.
He does in the back room. We're doing Christmas parties for various departments this year. Not just public servants as well. We do have a couple of law firms that do their fortnightly or monthly drinks. Corporate
drinks.
nights. Yeah.
Do you have like any other events apart from the public coming in on like a Tuesday and having dancing? Do you have any other events?
At this stage, not overly. We are planning a couple of big ones.
Okay.
So, for instance, when we open the doors back up for the balcony, we're planning on doing a pretty big event for that.
Okay.
So, calling it, we're calling it almost the reopening, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
Because if you've been here in summer, the venue is completely different.
Okay.
At the moment, we are a summer venue.
Yeah.
So during winter, for us, it's more about refining what we do.
Right.
And during summer, it's really about that's the experience. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, what do you think are the benefits of this business that sets you apart from the competitors?
I'd like to think we offer a higher quality product. If you were to go into any other bar in Canberra, the base spirits that they pour would not be the same as ours.
Same
They'd be
quality.
charging more for the products that we deliver.
Yeah.
For instance, up until very recently, we had Diplomatico rum as our house pour, which is considered one of the best rums going. It's one of the best rum ranges in the world. And we were using their base levels as our house pour. And we're not charging any more than anywhere else. Like, you can buy a drink here for the same price. If you bought a Scotch and Coke here, you're going to be paying the same as you would be at Kingo's.
Okay.
So you're looking at $9. So for me, that's a big point.
It's quality.
Yeah, it's quality. It's consistency.
Yeah.
Is a big thing.
But do you think your competitors can get the same supplier from like yours, from the same supplier,
Not at the same cost.
not the same cost?
Why is that?
We're a more polished venue.
Okay.
Getting into it. So at the moment, we're in the top 10 for Rum Bar of the Year.
Wow.
All right.
Cool.
So we have that level of power, and people want to be in our venue.
Yeah.
It's desirable.
Yeah, it's desirable. We like to think we offer a more polished finish than some other venues can.
Definitely. And as you said, you guys have this specialty for rum. So you must be having like a spiced rum range and all of that stuff.
We've got about 230 different rums.
Wow.
And we've got Australian, we've got a couple of, I think we've got the Scottish one.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot from South America and whatnot. But the range we have is pretty substantial.
Right. Yeah. So that definitely sets you apart, I'd say.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
You can get stuff in here and our owner makes a point of he gets stuff that you can't get anywhere else in
Anyway.
Australia.
Right. Okay.
We're actually in the process of locking in a ginger beer it's a Jamaican ginger beer. There's only one place in Australia that actually currently stocks it, and it's in Western Australia, and we're going to get that in here.
Yeah.
So it's offering something that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Do you have any trademarks or patents that only you can serve?
Not at this stage, and I don't think that's. I love the idea of having a specialty cocktail, but the way we look at it, and one of the sayings one of my bartenders says is, we're not here to make shit drinks.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if you have a specialty, I feel like you're limiting yourself. We'd rather say we're good at everything we do.
Okay.
That's why our menu constantly changes. So we're actually in development of a new menu for summer. Our cocktails vary. So during winter we only run 8 or 9 cocktails on the menu. During summer it might bump up to 15. But each cocktail stands well on its own.
Yeah.
What's your best? If you have one, do you have any bestseller? Any category?
As best sellers go, daiquiris quite popular, just because people have an expectation, and we have a variety of daiquiris, so it's not just one particular drink. So you can get raspberry, you can get lemon, you can get. I think there's like 10 different daiquiris that we offer just on our menu. They sell quite well. Otherwise, the pina colada is obviously a classic.
Yeah.
Has to be. Look at this place.
Yeah, we do one called a tropic fix, which is passion fruit that people tend to love because it looks quite summery.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's all about the vibe as well.
Yeah.
The difference between us and Molly's, Molly's obviously quite dark. And
Yeah.
It's more corporate. It's more corporate. Like
it's meant to be a speakeasy. The whole idea is it's a speakeasy
Okay.
from the 1920s.
Yeah.
Whereas if you think 1950s, the bar, especially in Cuba, that was when they were really trying to show off.
Yeah.
So that's for us. That like I said, that's why we dress the way we do. In summer, my guys, even though it's going to be stinking hot, we're still going to have a certain uniform that fits into what they would wear in Cuba.
It's a certain
Okay.
standard to be maintained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about the brand recognition as well.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
For me.
Brand Rex.
Regarding my previous question about the company's benefits that you can give to your customers, what about? So we understand that you guys have dance classes. Do you think that will set you apart from the competitors?
Oh, look, to a certain extent, absolutely. There's no reason there isn't any other bars that could do it. The reason that we're able to do it is because we're themed correctly. There's no reason you couldn't do what these guys do here at Kingo's or at Mooseheads or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all seriousness though, like they've got the space, they can
Yeah.
move the furniture.
Right.
But
Is this the only bar in Canberra or around this city that have this
it's the only
unique?
one it's the only one I know of that does the dancing.
Dancing. Yeah.
So with salsa dancing, it's actually a pretty full week for them. So Mondays they do classes, Tuesday is here. So there's, I'll start this again. So there's like 3 or 4 different groups that do dancing in Canberra, salsa dancing. Mondays one of them has a class. Tuesdays all 3 groups tend to come here. Wednesdays there's another class. Thursday there's a big dance night. They do social dancing again, but it's actually at a studio. And then Friday is Friday. So, they just go out. So in terms of dancing, there's 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
We're the only one involved that has a liquor license
Okay. Right.
so
in
that-
Canberra.
in Canberra.
That does
that
set
I'm
them
aware
apart.
of.
Are you partnered with dance
We're not. So
studios then?
the company that runs our night is called Salsa Bar.
Okay.
We're not partnered with them per se. It's
But
sort of
affiliated.
it's a mutual beneficial relationship.
Okay,
So
yeah.
for instance, they held their open day here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was just the same. We gave them the space for a little while. Don't get me wrong. We take a little bit off the door for them, but
Yeah,
again,
that's
it's
how it
nothing
works.
substantial. It's just
Yeah.
something to help supplement us. Obviously, we are giving them our venue.
Yeah.
Obviously, the benefit is the benefit outweighs all of that.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we love having them here. Is the truth of the matter. They bring us clientele that we might not necessarily get.
Yeah.
We're busy on a Tuesday, which not a lot of venues get to say. With the exception of Transit, I don't know any other venues that hold anything substantial on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
And are the
Definitely.
dance classes led by the dance teachers?
They're led by proper instructors, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where do you outsource the instructors from?
Like I said, the company's Salsa Bar, so it's their
okay.
instructors that come in.
So they're affiliated and they.
I see.
So they
Yeah.
take care of the dancing.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
just
Okay.
keep the
So,
venue.
so they bring in everything themselves. They use our PA,
Yeah.
but they bring in their own laptops. They bring in their own DJ.
Yeah.
dance
And you do the
instructors.
marketing for the class.
We both do marketing for it. So we promote it on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
They promote it through their classes. They use it on their Facebook page. So it's not something we over promote too much.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the idea for us is it is more dancing than it is
Right.
drinking on that night. So,
Yeah.
like, don't get me wrong, they drink,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's one of those events you don't necessarily want as many people coming here ogling them. We tend to push people that aren't dancing into our back room on
Okay.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
That's why I don't often have functions on Tuesdays, because it's nice to be able to say, use that space.
Yeah.
That way you can sit and have a drink and still
Yeah.
experience the venue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I see that your company is having some sort of partnership with the dance class, dance school. Is there any profit splitting at the end of the day?
Like I said, we take a small
Door.
amount from the door takings, but not really. You know, for them, this is actually just as much about them promoting their business
Yep.
as it is
Yeah.
ours.
Yeah.
So the first class they run is free. So anyone can just, like, if you guys stayed around tonight, you could do the class
Yeah.
for free. And then they charge, it's a second class, which to just do that class I think is $5. But to do that class and social dancing, so social dancing runs from I think it's 7:30, 8 o'clock till midnight, can do. So to do all three classes, $17.
Wow, that's good.
That's pretty
Yeah.
economical. And one thing I'm pretty sure because of the wide range of drinks you have, and just by seeing your bar, I'm pretty sure you get very experienced bartenders. So you must be setting a very high criteria for people applying for the
Oh
job.
yeah. How do you choose people?
On personality, if I'm being completely
Personality?
honest. Canberra's a very tough market to find cocktail bartenders.
Okay.
The reality for us is, I moved here from Adelaide 5 years ago. I moved here because I knew there were hospitality jobs. My time at Jamie's, 90% of my floor staff, were students.
Right.
Because you don't get professional hospitality in Canberra.
Yeah.
And if you do, they want more.
Money,
Yeah.
So, well, not just money, they want more in terms of commitment from the business.
Right.
And they want more growth opportunities. So myself, when I came across here, you know, I've been in hospital for 10 years. My assistant bartender, well, my 2IC, he's just come back from 4 years over in England, where he was a bartender in Manchester, one of the top cocktail bars there. So
Yeah. Are they a key resource for you then, would you say? Or?
absolutely,
Yeah.
our bartenders, like, once we get them, we want to hang on to them.
Yeah.
There are guys that have been in the company since we opened. You know, it's about product knowledge as well. So our bar manager over in Molly actually started out working at Dan Murphy's.
Okay, so he knows.
He
everything.
knew grog, but he didn't know cocktails.
Yeah.
Now he won an award recently. He's going over to the US for 2 weeks to work in 2 of the best bars in the world. Like, one of the bars they're going to work in is the best cocktail bar in the
Wow.
world.
Yeah.
So they're going to spend a couple of shifts there working.
Is it in New York?
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
So, who do you think? Sorry, we have to speed out a bit because we have a lot of questions. Yeah. Who do you think are the competitors in this area?
In this particular area, probably Treehouse and White Rabbit are our main competitors.
Treehouse and
In terms of they do cocktails, but again, they're not just cocktail bars. They offer themselves up as an open bar as well, which changes the market a little bit. I think what sets us apart really is the fact that we don't push a lot of food. We offer food, but we don't. It's not something. We're not here to serve food.
Yeah.
We have food as a secondary source. We are primarily a bar and a cocktail
Okay.
bar.
Finger food.
Finger food, exactly. We call it Cuban street food. Yeah, we don't want to be a restaurant.
So Molly is not your competitor. It's
No, Molly and us work at different. We're after the same market, but different markets at the same time.
Okay.
So being whiskey and rum, like, there's a bit of crossover, but at the same time we feed off each other. So Molly's close time is 2 o'clock, ours is 3. So the idea is they could push business over here.
Okay.
I mean, we do have Rockford that's very close to us, but again, they're a little bit different because they are a bit more wine, from what I understand. It's just, there are competitors around, don't get me wrong, but it's very different markets in Canberra.
And what's your costing like compared to Molly?
Same, pretty much. We have a few more staff because we have we're a bit more a speed cocktail bar, so it's quick service as opposed to Molly, where some of the drinks can take 10, 15
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Ours is a bit more high-paced.
Yes.
So again, that's the idea. We're a high-paced cocktail bar,
Yeah.
whereas at Molly, it's more about the experience of being in there.
Yeah. So what do you think are what are the things that you think that competitors have advantage over this company?
Yeah, what's the one thing you can improve about this place? Like,
Yeah, you'd be hoping
In relative to the competitors.
The one thing I'd like to push a bit more is just visibility to certain corporate companies.
Okay.
A lot of places still see this as they don't see it as a event they could hold a corporate function at. They see it more as a bar where there's going to be 18-year-olds getting plastered every night.
Right, I see.
Which, don't get me wrong, happens. It's going to happen anywhere. But for me, that would be one thing I'd like to push a bit more is the corporate aspect of it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to compete with venues like Mooseheads or Kino's
Okay.
where they offer $3.50 spirits.
Yeah.
That's not the clientele we're after.
Yeah.
Our idea is we are a high-end cocktail bar.
luxury.
So you don't see, so from that view then, you don't see trying to attract university students as like an opportunity for the business?
No, don't get me wrong there. I love having uni students in, and we do get a lot of them. We had during Bush Week,
Okay.
we're part of that event.
Yeah.
And we had 150 students come in for
Wow.
like 2 hours.
Okay.
And we offered, $10 cocktails for
Okay.
that. The reality for us is, our cheapest drink is $9.
Yeah.
I understand uni students can't always afford that.
Or, yeah.
However, I like to think of us as somewhere uni students could start their night up.
Okay.
The whole idea, I love that aspect of it.
No, I like the
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's more exclusive because
Yeah.
I personally I don't like going out to Mooseheads. I prefer either going to Molly or this place.
Well, that's it. For me as well, like if I'm honest, when I think about the bars I like to go to, and I've been to Molly, White Rabbit, and Treehouse and Rockford, it's a very different vibe. You can come here and you can have a conversation with someone.
Yeah, okay.
Can
have a conversation.
it's coming from Adelaide where, they actually had bars like this. The reason they were able to survive in Adelaide is because they had pokies. So for a bar to stand alone without food, without being a dance club in Canberra, you need to be able to offer something, and you can have a conversation here.
Yeah.
It's not about listening to doof doof. It's not about For me, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Regarding the not the profitability, just generally, like how would you think this place is doing in the 2 years that it's been operating?
Very well.
Very well.
Very well. We're in the process of trying to become a Canberra institution. That's the way I look at it. That's what we want to be. We're not here for a short time. We want this to be a long-term endeavour.
You're here to stay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're doing things like we're hooking up with Salsa Bar, who's been operating for a lot of years, where, if you look at the fit out of this place, it's not a thrown together fit out.
No.
Like, the
Lots
little,
of thought.
Yeah, like, the little brewery that beer place is the Scientology place. There's a little beer bar down there.
Yeah.
If you go have a look at that, that's the most basic fit out ever.
Okay.
They're only going to be there for 12 months, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
We're not here for a short time. We want to. This is a long-term project.
Sustainability.
Yeah.
Sustainability.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So,
Anything else?
who do you think are the key partners of this business? Any partnership? Any form of alliance?
Well, I mean, obviously we have the partnerships with the other businesses, which we're going to be looking to further in the future. Our owners intend to keep building bars, keep looking for gaps in the market, and the reality is we want to play off each other. There's no point. One of the things we've discussed is actually on the bottom of our receipts, putting a little map from one venue right through to the others.
Yeah.
So
cool.
doing something like that, doing a reward system. So if you drink at all 3 venues, you get a free drink.
Oh,
So something like that. So you start at Blake Market, you work your way into the city.
let's
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time you get here, we'll give you a mojito. 'Cause
Yeah.
You've drunk at all 3 venues. Something like that could be cool.
Yeah.
Any consideration to do a franchise?
No. No. Bars are very tricky to franchise, just in general.
I see.
TGI Fridays is probably one of the few ones that does it well, but again, they do food.
It's more food oriented than
You
than drinks.
can't franchise without food. Especially don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but everywhere I've known that's done it successfully has a large food aspect of it.
Right.
Because the reality is, this bar wouldn't necessarily work in Sydney or Adelaide because they've already got those sorts of things. You know, for us, it's looking for a gap in the market. You know, that's not to say that we might not do food in the future.
But that gap is in Canberra right now.
Yeah, the gap was, you know, when Molly's first opened, everyone thought we were mental for opening up in that side of town.
Oh, alright.
Because there was nothing out there. But for us, it's like, well, yeah, there's nothing out there. You know,
that's the point. Yeah.
there's something exciting about being, you know, almost a pioneer.
And there's just one thing, like, you know, Highball, like, it's not exactly the most visible place. Like, Molly, you know that it's sort of discreet, but are you going for the discreet approach, or is it just strategically placed here?
As I said, it's a bit of both. It's a bit of, you know, the experience of finding the venue, but it's also the aspect, you know, we are a little bit more central.
Yeah.
We're a bigger venue as well.
Much bigger.
But again, you know, there's also a certain aspect of, you know, for what we pay in rent is better than what somewhere like Kokomo is paying.
Oh my god.
You know, you look at Kokomo, I've heard through the grapevine their rent's $400,000 a year. You know, when I was at Jamie's, we were paying $40,000 a month.
400,000 is a big.
40,000 a month.
Yeah, it's like $30,000 to $40,000
At Jamie?
a month. At Jamie's.
Camera Center.
Yeah, because it's 3 shop fronts.
So that's still for 480 grand a year.
40k.
So when you look at these businesses,
Yeah.
you know, that for us, that means that we can operate during winter.
Yeah.
And we have, like, we've had some very, very quiet nights this winter. Not
Yeah.
bad, like on the whole, the weekend repairs it, but it means that we don't have to get desperate.
All right, so breaking even sort of thing.
Yeah, not even breaking even. I think we've still made a profit.
Yeah.
Always. So for us, that's a big aspect of it as well.
Kokomo. Have you seen Kokomo?
It's huge.
It's huge. I think it's by the same person who owns the Kiva, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's,
Sage.
wow.
It's a 300 seat venue. That's without standing.
And it's pretty well made as well. Like,
Yeah. My concern with that venue is they've got too much going on because they're a bar, they're a restaurant, and they're a nightclub. Eventually, what you're gonna have is the people of Canberra are going to decide what it is. They're going to decide if it's a bar or a restaurant or a nightclub.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like they have to be all 3 things because otherwise they're not going to make their money.
Yeah.
They have to capitalise on every bit of business they can.
so you're seeing the people of Canberra as in demand, essentially.
Eventually, they'll decide if it's going to be a restaurant. In my mind, it'll either end up being a restaurant or end up being a nightclub. It'll turn back into Tongue and Groove. I personally think it'll probably go that way because if you want quality food, you go to a Kiva.
Yeah.
In my mind, still. So, but look, that's my opinion.
So about you know, having a strong base of customers is very important to the company sustainability, right? In what ways does your company help to build relationship with current customers,
loyalty.
and in what ways do you forge relationship with prospect customers?
So one of the things that we do offer here is a membership. So similar to Molly's, we have our lockers in the function room.
Yeah.
So with the purchase of a locker, you get 3 bottles of spirits put into your locker, and you also can purchase spirits at a discounted rate from us to put in there. Now, what that means, if you 3 you can also share that locker with up to 3 other people.
Okay.
So if the 4 of us had a locker, you can come in and show one of these little bad boys, and that lets us know you're a member. Number on the back tells us what locker it is.
Okay.
And you can come up and say, yep, we want the bottle of Diplomatico, and we'll have 4 old fashions.
So
And we'll just make you 4 old fashions for free. If you want something like an aviation, which requires other alcohol, we'd charge you just the base rate for that alcohol. So an aviation might cost you $9 as opposed to the normal $22. And it's the same as if we were to sit here and say, look, we don't actually want it as cocktails, we just want to drink it neat, we can have the bottle sitting here with us. It's the closest to bottle service you're going to get in Australia.
So it's personalised.
Very much so. And it's also, if we know you're a member, you get looked after. Like you are.
Yeah, you are priority.
You're a preferred customer.
Yeah.
Because you've shown commitment to the business.
So what do you charge for a locker?
At the moment, our lockers are $800 for a 12-month membership.
Okay.
And $800 for a second year. And then, obviously, it may potentially going up depending on demand.
And what do you pay? Oh, sorry, what alcohol spirits do you give? 3 bottles?
So
Or
it's
you
3 bottles. We say 3 bottles, and it's generally 1 or 2 more premium drinks and a sort of base.
All right.
However, if you went for 3 bases, we might give you a 4th. We'll just throw it in there for
So
you.
it depends on the bottle
It
value.
depends on the value, absolutely, because I want people to feel like they're getting their money's worth.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality for me. We've got a member who joined recently, and since joining, has spent an additional $600
Wow, yeah.
on bottles. So I gave him a bottle of Bacardi because
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, I should probably look at getting a rum," and I just went, "That's yours."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's that. It's being open to that sort of level as well.
So customer loyalty is very important for you.
Absolutely. You can't survive and not know people.
Yeah.
Canberra's too small a town.
Yeah.
So you mentioned previously just now that you have you work together with ANU Bushwick.
Yep.
Is there any other similar outreach event that this place have done?
Look, at this stage, not overly. It's one of those things we're open to it. There's a couple of people like Fashion Week. We're going to approach them.
Fashion.
Fashion Fest, I think it's called, and say to them, look, you know, because we know they do events.
Yeah.
It's about seeing what's going on in Canberra and what we can link ourselves up with.
I see.
You know,
Yeah.
one of the things that I didn't realise last week was National Rum Day. That was an oversight on my behalf. But it's about learning, you know, looking at what events there are in Canberra and how we can work ourselves within
It's
that.
like the nature of the event also has to match
Yeah.
your feel like. Yeah.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong, you know, if someone wanted to put an event in here that didn't match their vibe, I'd still consider it. But it depends what it is and what they want to do. Yeah.
I see.
Enough.
Right.
We got any other questions?
Yes, about the resources. So my question, this question right has 4 parts. Asking to identify what are the key resources of this place in terms of the physical resources, the intellectual, the human resource, and the financial resources. So let's start with the first one. What do you think are the physical key resources of this place? So for example,
Location. Or the
Like-
vibe.
the building.
Yep. So I guess obviously location is pretty good. Like we're in the city without being in the city,
Yeah.
which has certain elements.
Yeah.
And also we're on the way into
Yeah.
the city from a lot of from the business district as well as the uni.
Yeah.
So we can be a stop on the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're also surrounded by quite a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
do get quite a lot of after dinner trade, which has then led to we've got personal relationships with some of the other businesses around here. So like Briscoe, an Italian restaurant next door, myself and the owners are good friends with the guys in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully if they were closing up and throwing people out, they might say, hey, go upstairs for a drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And that's the sort of relationship you
You
want.
wanna
What about other the back end assets? It's like for example, like a delivery van, like a point of sale system.
In terms of those aspects, look, deliveries are deliveries. Our boss has very good relationships with the couriers. That's something he's worked very hard at, which pretty much means we get our deliveries when we want them. So they tend to, because we're only open in the afternoon, we tend to be one of the last places that they come to, which is beneficial for us because it means our stock's not left sitting out.
Yeah.
But we also have a good relationship with Nextdoor, so if they do drop stuff off, which they have to, Nextdoor will keep half an eye on it, and they know who we are, so
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
Point of sale system, we've got a pretty decent system in here in terms of what reporting and what we can get from it, which is a big thing for me. I like to see what we're selling, when we're selling it, and who we're selling to. So, you know, that knowing your business, you know, your trade periods is very important, obviously for staffing. So, yeah, your point of sale system has a big impact on that. And obviously just ease of access.
Yeah.
So in terms of human resource, what other positions can be found in this company?
So at the moment within the company, for just this venue, we have venue manager, senior bartender, which is my 2IC. We also have, at the moment, one, and we may potentially look at getting a second full-time position, and then the rest is made up of a couple of part-timers and casuals.
Right. Okay.
So pretty much once you get out of the full-timers, you're looking at students. So my 2 part-timers are both uni students, and all of my casuals are uni students as well.
Yeah.
So key resources, physically done.
Yeah.
Human has to be the bartenders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep.
Who manage the accounts?
The accounts
Yeah.
so that's managed sort of a three-prong approach. So I have a relationship with our vendors,
Yeah.
as does my boss, and the accounts are handled by an accounts person. So they just literally, we check the stock when it comes in. If it's all there, we just tell them to pay the receipt, pay the invoice. It's pretty basic.
Straightforward.
Yeah, it's not like a lot of other systems where it's a bit convoluted and they go, oh well, you know, because we don't have huge amounts of venues, and because we're a more specialty item, like you know, the suppliers we use for our juice, for instance, are a very reputable company. So it's not something where we, like, to be honest, we very rarely even check the stock that they bring in.
It's a trust.
It is very much a trust thing. You know, if there's very rarely issues with quality. Like I've been here 2 months, I've yet to see even a dented can get dropped off
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
So, you know, in terms of that, that's not something that we have to worry about. As long as it's all there, and we generally do a quick check, and then it's just paid. It's, as opposed to some other businesses where there's issues with stuff coming through, we use reputable sources, and we don't necessarily go for the cheapest. You know, it's that old saying, you pay for what you get. So...
So, all right. And so, in terms of intellectual resource, does the company rely on branding, on say?
To a certain extent, I think Molly's definitely, the branding there helps a lot in terms of it's a known brand. Whereas with us, it's more the quality that you're going to get when you come in. For us, you know, don't get me wrong, we all build relationships with people to try and boost the business. But in terms of networking, you know, our owners have a pretty wide-reaching network of people that they bring in.
Pretty sure.
You know, our owners, only one of them is full-time within the business. The other two have other jobs, and that's working within corporate Canberra.
They've got a wide reach.
Absolutely. And that's one of the benefits of having that sort of resource is they've got their finger on the pulse of what our key market wants.
So one of your owners, so like you said, the rest of your owners work, so they're actually in the sector to know what the sector wants.
Exactly.
All right,
That's
so you know
a
they
big
know
strength.
exactly what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then you've got people, you know, like myself and some of the guys here who, you know, we go and see what the competition's doing. Part of my job is actually going to other venues.
Okay.
I'm going up to Sydney in a couple of weeks to see, and I'm probably going to, you know, go up there for a weekend. And,
Field work.
well, yeah, exactly. And in that day, I will spend 2 full nights bar hopping.
Pretty much.
Literally, like
Market research.
Wow.
Well, my plan is to go to, I'm hoping at least 50 venues over the course of 2 days.
50.
Yeah.
All right.
50
That's-
venues. Yeah.
That is hectic.
To get some inspirations.
Not just inspiration, but to see what the market's doing.
Yeah.
You know, Canberra is a little bit behind some of the other venues in Canberra. When you look at in Australia, you know, when I first moved to Canberra, we were very much. I've been here 5 years. When I first moved here, the way hospitality was going in Canberra was it was going to be like Sydney. You know, we wanted to be like Sydney. We wanted to emulate what they were doing up there. But then everyone realised that doesn't work. And
Yeah.
we switched to more of what Melbourne's doing.
Okay.
So when you actually look at, especially with food, food's the big one. We're definitely going after more of what Sydney does. Melbourne does in terms of food. It's more bespoke sort of stuff. There's a reason why Lonsdale Street's taking off. But in bars, we're still sort of more towards Sydney.
Yeah. Just one thing, the financial resources, like I'm pretty sure the owners must have sound financial backing to back this place.
Capital.
Capital, right?
Yeah, look, from what I understand,
Because we have to ask you this, the
No, no, it's all
financial
good.
resource
Yeah,
part.
they've got, this isn't the first business for any of them.
All right.
So all three of the two gentlemen that aren't in the business own the businesses they have.
Oh.
Like they actually are either the owner or the founder.
Yeah. So the owners form out of 3 people.
3.
So okay.
Three.
So it's
Yeah.
like
They're all entrepreneurs
Yeah.
of their own.
So 2 of the owners have other businesses which they started.
Okay.
The third one, this is not his first French
Investment.
Yeah, he opened when he started at 16, running other venues.
Wow.
So this is his second coming of opening a business in a certain field.
So they all have experience as well
They
as
all have
the money
experience
they
as
need.
well as the
Right.
money to back it.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think like the Molly's and the other sister company finance this place?
No.
Not at all.
No,
So you
we're
run
all-
independently.
We're all independent.
We're all
We
independent and
We all
we
have
have the
separate
credit.
ABNs.
Okay.
We all run individual. We track stock that gets swapped between the venues.
Right.
So from anything from a bottle of
Yep.
rum to a loaf of bread,
Yeah,
we track
yeah.
what goes where.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I can't have my venue
Yeah.
running poorly.
That's true.
And another venue being like, oh, look how much money we made
Yeah,
when they're
yeah,
using
yeah.
heaps of our stock.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea if the three partners do they borrow any loans from the banks?
not that I'm aware of.
So everything come out from their pockets and
Could be.
from the other business.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it comes from the other business.
Yeah.
I'd say it comes from them.
Yeah.
You don't want one business to be
Suffer
Fail
because
from
at
that,
the cost
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
other.
Well, the best example, and I can actually give you a great example of that. So the company that used to own Jamie's Italian is called Keystone. They had businesses around Australia. They had something like 40 venues. So Cargo Bar and Bungalow 8 up
Yeah.
in Sydney were theirs. They the only profitable business within that whole company was Jamie's Italian. Jamie's Italian was making enough. The loan, so they were borrowing heavily to keep their businesses going. When they acquired Jamie's Italian, Jamie's was making enough to pay off the interest on their loan. That was it. Like they weren't even cutting into their debt; they were just paying off the interest.
Oh my god.
So
crap.
yeah, that they were never going to get out. That's why they went into receivership and were foreclosed on. So it's one of those things, you don't want one company, one business holding up another.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
sustainable
yeah.
for either.
Yeah.
Because because then what they do is, if a business is profitable, they start putting like, oh, you need to cut down on labour, you need to cut down on costs, and expect the same revenue.
Yeah.
And eventually, what happens is quality goes down.
That's true.
Awesome.
So the three bars are independent but help each other.
Independent, but we work together.
Yeah,
Exactly,
work together. Yeah.
Okay. I think.
Great.
I think the last question is regards to the future plans of this place.
Yeah, what's the future plans? Like, do you plan to
Expansion?
expand?
Like I said to you before, I see this becoming a Canberra institution. I want this to be one of those places, where you come, where people who move away from Canberra can come back in 5 years and go, it's still there.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah.
I want it to be consistent.
Yeah.
Our biggest thing at the moment is pushing towards that consistency of service, consistency of product.
Yeah.
Because those are the two things. If you have that, you have longevity.
Okay.
Money will come. For me, it's about, I want to sell all my membership lockers. That for
Okay.
me is a big thing, building a proper local support, like a proper regular
Clientele.
base. Yeah. As far as expansion goes, we can't really expand into anywhere up here. But in saying that, during summer,
It's just been
we're
2
gonna-
years. Like,
yeah, during summer we're going to open up 6 days a week. So we're going to try and
Yeah.
tackle the Sunday market because I think there's a gap in the market there.
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna push for that, and it's going to be that whole. We'll open at maybe 1 o'clock, and we'll close whenever we decide it's dead.
Okay.
So we won't close
Yeah.
before say 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So does it mean you have to hire more people, getting more inventory products?
Inventory, not necessarily. Obviously, it'll change the way we order
Yeah.
a little bit if we're going to be open the sixth day.
Yeah.
But in terms of staff, look, it might mean that, as I said before, we're looking at maybe bringing on another full-timer.
Yeah.
That might be the way we do it. It could be that for this summer, I might work 6 days a week until we get it under control,
Yeah.
or we see how profitable it is. It's you're not going to get anywhere without taking risks. Is the
Yeah.
reality.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Like, and
That's very good.
I have a certain, I'm not an owner or anything, but I have an investment in this company in terms of my own personal life.
Yes.
So for me, it's in my best interest for this business to do well.
Yeah.
The reality is we want to win awards. We're up for Rum Bar of the Year in Australia. I'd like to think in a couple of years we're going to be up for Bar of the Year.
Okay.
I want to keep pushing that. I want to be going for best rum bar in the Southern Hemisphere or the Asia Pacific, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sky's
cool.
the limit.
that's exactly it.
Yeah,
I
big
want to push.
goals.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And there's no point not having big goals.
Yeah.
Everyone says, oh, it's set the bar low so you know it's less far to fall.
No
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's absolute bullshit. Where's
Yeah.
the fun in that?
Yeah.
You know, you see people that don't set the bar high, they're miserable.
Challenge is one thing.
Yeah.
So right,
That's great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
All good, guys.
Yeah.
You got what you needed.
Yeah.
yeah.
And definitely be visiting to do